Up to the mountains and under the scorching sun, over the rivers, even when the waves roll loud. God, I said I would follow by faith today and tomorrow. It's story time. Enjoy. Hey guys, welcome back. This is Yanta. I don't know which episode we're at, but I'm pretty sure what number it is. I want to say 7, but it's definitely going to be the last episode of this series to wrap it up in the most up-to-date version. Last we talked about my dream job, having my dream job, why I had to let that go, where it was making friends and having to let that go, where it was and being forced to move to the south side of Chicago. But also, all that experience forced me into therapy, which has been a blessing. So yeah, basically, maybe we're about spring 2022. Is that right? Spring 2022? Yes, spring 2022, because I started working for Highland Park spring 2021. I left Highland Park totally winter 2021. So apply for therapy winter 2021 and started beginning of spring 2022-ish. And that's also when I moved south of Chicago. By this point, I had no choice. And I just moved into this neighborhood that, I felt like God kept leading me to by force because I had nowhere else to go. But it was the most amazing thing. Let me tell you, the lady who was the realtor, I remember calling her on a Wednesday while driving. I was at work. Oh, so when I left Highland Park, I ended up coming back with 40 acres. I ended up going back with 40 acres because they were hiring for a more permanent position. And yeah, so I went back with 40 acres and I was working with them and I was driving because part of the job was delivering. And I was like, I need to figure out what I'm going to do. I had a deadline where I wasn't supposed to be in the house, although it was supposed to be temporarily, but it didn't make any sense that while I'm paying rent here with what I have and I have to catch up, that I have to go find a space temporarily. It didn't. Anyways, that's not even the focus. The focus was, I remember calling this particular apartment I kept seeing coming up, and calling them and trying to figure out like what to do because I need to move. Called the lady, it was the realtor, and she was like, well, this location you're looking at, we really don't even have space. It would have been like a small space with shared common spaces like kitchen, etc. And they only had men location. And she asked me if I saw this other location. I was like, yeah, I saw it, but when I click on it, no information came up. She was like, oh, that's because we're still under construction. But however, we're letting people move in. And I'm like, that's fine, because that's how I got into my first apartment to begin with. When I moved in, they were under construction. Like, they were under construction, which also made the rent cheaper. And that's how I was able to afford it to begin with. So that's okay with me. So she sent me the link, sent me the application. She said, apply it as soon as you can. Right when work was over that afternoon, I applied that afternoon. Sent her a text letting her know that it was done. The next day, while I was at work still, she called me. She was like, okay, I think I am able to get you, but I need X, Y, and Z. So I had to figure out what all those were. And I didn't even have the funding to pay for the down payment and the application fee. But I remember I had a dream where that same morning I had a dream. Well, that night before, I had a dream where, again, my mom, we're going through, there was a bunch of monsters and I was trying to follow her, and then I got to safe space, and then she was trying to give me something, and then one of the monsters stole it. So I woke up that morning, I was like, whatever is it that they're trying to steal from me, I rebuke it. So then when I found out that, so I woke up that morning. I said, Lord, what am I supposed to do with this? And then he was like, ask her if she can help you. So I did, and she agreed. So later on that day, when she said what she needed from me and blah, 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 my mom did her due diligence and she helped a sister out. Because a mom's going to be a mom. At least a good mom is going to be a good mom forever. You hear me? And I have one of the best ones out there. And yeah, so she basically, I wasn't supposed to be approved till about 3 days, but I told her I didn't have 3 days. I told her I had till Saturday because I knew I was off for sure that Saturday. I work Friday, I work on Sunday, and Saturday will be the best day to move for me, and I need to get this done. So she did everything she could and pushed me and got me approved. Once again, I think I spoke to her on Wednesday. I think I applied that Wednesday night. She got my application, started processing Thursday, got me approved by Friday. So got me approved within less than 24 hours. When she called me, I was driving. She was like, Yanta, she's Hispanic. So she said, Janta, I got news for you. I got you approved. And met me that Saturday and basically gave me my keys. And I'm not gonna lie, y'all. I moved March 5th, 2022. And it happened so fast that a part of me was wondering if this, like, what if this is a scam? And because I didn't move on the first day, like, gave me some money back from how much I would have paid if I moved in the first. And it was just enough money to get a U-Haul to go to the storage that my stuff was there the whole time. So my stuff was in my old apartment storage for like over a year, the whole time. And I didn't even know who to contact. I showed up by faith and hope that I'm able to get access to the storage, which I did, to get my stuff and drag all this stuff upstairs to the U-Haul by myself, pull up to this apartment, met with the lady and drag all my stuff upstairs because I was living on the 5th floor, and moved in. And I remember telling her, like, I so appreciate that she went above and beyond to get me approved. And she was like, yeah, I just got good vibes from you. And I just felt like you were a homegirl that I had to help. And that's what it felt like. It felt like my homegirl saw that I needed help and went above and beyond to make sure that I got the help that I need. That's what she did. I still have her phone number till this day. It's been over a year since I've been here. I still have her phone number. And I will use it in a minute if I need to. I haven't really needed to, but she's the realtor for the company. But yeah, that's how I ended up moving south of Chicago. And yes, being forced to move south of Chicago, I had to change doctors. Changing doctors is how I found out that changing doctors and having a woman doctor who listened to me and telling her what my issue is the first time I had somebody not trying to explain away a situation. And it's how I find out that I have sleep apnea. And it's also how I find out that my hormone is imbalanced. So some of the issues where I was struggling with, like my menstrual not being regulated since I was 16 and having issue with sleeping and not sleeping through the night and sleeping through or like thinking I slept through the night and waking up feeling exhausted, and all of that. If I didn't have insurance, first of all, I wouldn't be able to go to a regular doctor. If I didn't have insurance, I wouldn't, and having move south to have that particular doctor who listened to me and gave me the referral and going to the sleep people and getting a sleep study and then finding out I have sleep apnea. Like, I wouldn't be able to get the machine I needed. If I didn't have insurance, I wouldn't be able to afford the machine because it's super expensive, like thousands of dollars. Like, and now having access to these things, it's like, every time I think about it, it's like, Lord, thank you, Jesus. And like, being able to get the care that you need, including mental health. And my therapist, once again, is amazing. And it wasn't through therapy and her listening to my story, listening and being able to diagnose me. At first, when she diagnosed me with everyday anxiety and mild depression and circumstantial depression, I think she misdiagnosed. And then when she started breaking down what they might look like, I can remember circumstances and time frames of my life where those behaviors were me to the T. And it's like, oh, you know what you're talking about. But she didn't just diagnose me, then gave me meds. She didn't give me any meds. She gave me tools and ways of coping. And as I started practicing them, I realized my biggest issue is that I don't give myself credit, nor do I believe in my ability. I do not consider myself, and I allow people to treat me however way because I'm being considerate to their feelings and not to mine. So I needed to get back in. First of all, looking at me, looking at who I am in God. This is why it was important to me that she was a Christian. Who I am in God, who God calls me to be, the gifts He's given me, and believe in them and trust in them, and also practice everyday simple self-care. Things that I'd never really considered a big deal, that I deprived myself from often, but I was beginning to do. Little things like getting myself flowers or choosing to buy something that I really want. And I tell myself, yeah, but you don't really need it. But then it's like, it's going to be beneficial to you. More I find myself practicing these steps, I'm like, I really like this. More I'm deciding like, I'm going to do something for me, not because like somebody said I should, or because I'm trying to show that I can, or not trying to prove a point, or not needing people to validate certain things. Like the more I practice these things, the more I'm like, I like me. And then finding myself in situations that I expected to have anxiety in. But even knowing that anxiety was my vice, having word to what I was going through is like such a big deal, because now whenever those feelings show up, I know it's anxiety. And then I am able now to like counter speak against that and seeing changes like that 1 year I did with her got to the point where last time we did our assessment, the only reason why there's any score at all is so that I can still have access to her just in case. That's how significantly there has been a change in my system and like my emotions, the way I think, the way I approach things, why I do things. And it's like having the permission from me outside of God to be who I am and not making excuses for it or wondering how somebody's going to feel about it, because it's their problem, not mine. And it took a weird situation with a roommate to make me realize that there's something that's not right, why I attract people like that. There was other situations that was also happening at work and with the team too, that was also pushing it, but that was the main thing. But also realizing in every single one of these situations, I saw them coming. I felt it when I met the people. I saw it in their speech, but I denied the truth of it, making me think that I was making a big deal out of nothing. And then they end up blowing up in my face and prove me right, and realizing like, girl, you may have a gift of discernment that you're not listening to. And if you do, it's probably going to save you a lot. And I had a conversation with a friend who was like, you've always been good at listening, your gut feeling. And I'm like, wait a minute, I've always been like that. Like I've always had a gift of discernment. Always did. And since I was little, there are certain things that I just knew wasn't right. Certain people that I knew had certain character that I never met before. And I didn't know how I knew that, but I felt it. But I always try to convince myself that maybe I am misjudging the person. And almost, if not every time, something would happen where their character will come out and it'll blow out of proportion, and it will prove that I was right about the person. It's like, you should have listened to yourself. You should have listened to yourself. So that has been the experience since I moved south of Chicago, like having access to the right medical care. I don't know. I'm pretty sure there's right medical care anywhere. But with the insurance that I had, for some reason, this neighborhood that I'm in, like the girl said, you'll find everything that you need. I love this neighborhood, y'all. Much better than both north neighborhood that I lived in. Okay. I still have access to the lake, just like the neighborhood I wanted north. It's still walkable, even better than the neighborhoods, both of them that I live north. It's beautiful. I don't feel unsafe here. And it's Black excellence everywhere. I love my building. I love my block even better. And once again, being in this neighborhood allowed me to have access to a doctor that's near. And that doctor happened to be a female doctor, immigrant female doctor who's super dope. Matter of fact, the other day I saw her because I had to follow up with her because this whole time I've been with specialists to figure out what's going on with me. And you know, they take time. By the time you get an appointment, you see them, then you go for further testing, then the results come out, then you get access to your medicine. It takes time, right? And also your schedule, work, and things like that. But so I saw her for follow-up finally, most recently, and talking to her, she was like, I heard X, Y, and Z. Like, basically, it's like, you were right. You knew what you felt, and though nobody listened to you before, and it's been years of issue, but clearly you were right because you went in, you seen these specialists, and the results came. Here's what was wrong. Here's what you've been feeling all these years, and then, it's like, and I told her, thank you for listening to me. So, and yes, since I've had access to my CPAP machine, I've been sleeping better. This past few days in general, like, I've been sleeping for like a lot of hours, and I just be waking up like, what time is it? I think I'm sleeping too much, but also I was able to take a new blood test and realize that I had like new allergies. So right now it's a culmination of figuring out the best health situation for me because I have to deal with hormone imbalance and have to deal with food allergies that are like soy and nuts that a lot of things have in. And then not sleeping and different things and having to change my diet and figure out what my diet, like maybe going gluten-free, no dairies, but then a lot of things that doesn't have these things have nuts and soy, but I'm allergic to, so like it's figuring that out and basically like with no excuse doing what I have to do. That includes the type of jobs I work, to make sure that I give myself the best opportunity of being healthy. This journey has made me realize, like this whole time, yes, it started off as a faith journey, but really all along, it had been a wellness journey, one that is continuous because there's no end to it, you know, it's just growth. And I'm grateful that I went about it the way that I did. I'm grateful that I did my best, and I'm grateful that I never gave up to the point where I can finally get the access to what I need. And I'm grateful for Illinois for even having resources like that available to everyone who's a resident of Illinois versus other states that I lived in don't have it set up that way. Like I couldn't have access to these because the way that I do in Illinois. I couldn't have the access to that in Florida, couldn't have access to that in New York, definitely would not have access to that in Georgia. But having moved to Chicago, Illinois, I have access to that, and I didn't know that. And I've already fallen in love with Chicago since I've been here because is the nice mix for me. It's like Chicago is a big city, but not as big as other cities. But Chicago is also full of country people, and then there's Lake Shore right there. There's the beach. It's like a nice mix for me, as a person. And but also it's been the better city for me because it's been the city that provided me with the resources that is helping me deal with the the differences. I guess I don't want to say issues that I have had. So yeah, I don't know if God will have me move again. But if He does, I'm gonna trust that it's going to be better than this. If He does, I don't know when is the next time I'll be on here as far as like a butterfly story is concerned. But when that does happen, regarding whatever it is, if God allows it, I will do just that. And I trust that it'll be even better and bigger testimonies because when I started, I asked God to make my life a living testimony. And that is what it's been. With that being said, thanks for watching, and deuces. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, leave a comment, and then subscribe. Put your bell notification on. Goodbye.